It's completely doable. It's not rocket science. And that means that we won't depend on the market to build when it wants to build. We build when we want to build because the taxpayers, us, deserve a return on our investment too.
Shanti Singh is a longtime tenant and housing activist who sits on the city's Housing Stability Fund Oversight Board. This board advises the mayor and SF legislators on how to fund affordable housing projects using public money, like the Prop I transfer tax approved by voters in 2020.
In 2020, San Francisco voters overwhelmingly approved Prop I. That was a transfer tax, which is a fancy way of saying that, really expensive real estate sales could be a big mansion, could be a big apartment building, et cetera, above $10 million. Pay like a little bit extra when you're selling the property. And through that money, we've raised about $400 million. And when the voters approved Prop I, it was meant to be for two things. Rent relief, especially during COVID when people were losing income through no fault of their own, and social housing. Like everybody is struggling right now. It's not just low-income people, it's also middle-income people who can't afford the market. And so when we talk about social housing, we're talking about a broader program. We're talking about a program like Medicare or Social Security, or that's the goal, right?
Backers of Prop I campaigned on taxing luxury office buildings and mansions to support affordable social housing for all. And despite being outspent 20-1 by the real estate industry, managed to secure well over 57% of voter support. With over $400 million accrued for rent relief, eviction prevention, and affordable housing, Shanti isn't the only San Franciscan frustrated by the lack of political will at City Hall to spend the funds for their intended use.
San Francisco is facing its highest level of eviction in decades. And right now, we know that there are more than 17,000 affordable homes that are ready to be built, but just waiting for the funding. We haven't had a real affordability agenda here in San Francisco in a long time. And that's because to get there, you need good policies that are not only implemented, but invested in.
Kyle Smeallie is the policy director of the San Francisco Community Land Trust, which has helped house over 300 residents by preserving 174 permanently affordable homes across San Francisco. He was also the chief of staff for former Supervisor Dean Preston, who authored 2020's Prop I.
So instead of repealing policies that can actually address this growing crisis, we should be doubling down on them. When more than 70% of San Franciscans are saying tax downtown offices and mega mansions to provide affordability for all, we should be getting that job done for them.
Kyle is referring to a recent development with 2020's Prop I, at the peak of the affordability crisis when many advocates are looking to identify more revenue for affordable housing. The mayor's office has announced it's moving legislation to repeal the transfer tax increases and return them to pre-pandemic levels, while expanding the tax's applicability to certain affordable housing projects that were previously exempt.
It's wild that at the peak of this nation's affordability crisis, when we have a White House that is slashing funds for affordable housing and homeless services, and simultaneously using that office to enrich themselves and their real estate investor friends, like this is the time that we're further rolling back taxes on billionaires, that's wild. We've got to do better. Whether it's workforce housing for essential workers, preserving permanently affordable homes, land banking for future site development, making new cooperatives and community land trusts, investing in public housing, or making social housing that can serve a range of income levels, we know what to do, we just have to invest in it.
Social housing was something people were talking about in the days of FDR, right? People want to be stably housed in a way where they're not subject to speculation or eviction or discrimination or, redlining, et cetera, all of these different things. So like people think that social housing might be a new term, but it's actually not just because it exists in other countries, but because people in America have been demanding it for over 100 years. It's not about like this subset of people who make this income or this subset of people who make that income. It's about having a system that actually puts housing over profits.
Government has a role to play. Public money is critical, financing is critical, but San Franciscans know that divestment is not a plan. Dedicating the Prop I tax revenue to fund affordable housing is a real plan. And now is the time to do it. while real estate investors are scooping up properties throughout the Bay Area, and developers are sitting on fully entitled properties waiting for their next tax break. Now is the time for bold solutions and to demand more from our public sector. Other jurisdictions have successfully passed transfer taxes and dedicated them to affordable housing. And here in San Francisco, we can be a leader in making sure those resources are managed effectively and that we can look beyond traditional models of affordable housing. I've seen the transformational impact that affordable housing can have on communities. And that's why I'm so excited to vote this November to dedicate these funds to fund affordable housing now and into the future.